I don't know. It's just your height
Sorry, go
change. I
ahead.
was like, okay. So I was just curious, like, if there's any like studies or anything like that, but I don't know.
Mm. Have you heard of Andrew Huberman?
No, I have not.
He specializes in researching visual, like eye, retina, the whole eye and brain. The eyes are the only part of your brain that is outside of your body. They're your
That's weird. Yeah.
yeah. So I mean, I'm sure there's some correlation to like advancing your brain health advances your eye
Yeah.
health, or nourishing your body with foods and oils that nourish your brain is going to improve your eyesight, things like that. I'm sure there's a correlation. I don't personally know of any because I've never been like really curious about eye
Yeah.
health, but it would be worth checking out because I know um, Andrew Huberman is one of my favorite people to listen to. And he does podcasts, like long form podcast. He's a professor at Stanford University, but he creates long form podcasts basically on all kinds of topics that are founded in science for the human body. And he goes really deep into it. And so, what I would love to find out is he probably does have a podcast on eye health specifically. He does
That's pretty
talk
sick.
about like,
Yeah.
yeah, like eye exercises and stuff. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You should check it out. A lot of the stuff I'm
I will.
talking
I will.
about is actually from him.
Okay, sick.
Oh, I hope that doesn't make my. We're waiting for Michael for a minute. How are you guys? Somebody else, speak up.
I am doing fantastic. I'm
That's
doing
all.
great.
Hey, when's your guys' oil class?
This Wednesday.
You're
Nice.
teaching Klasky again?
Oh yeah, this Wednesday. I am so
Dude,
excited, dude.
congrats. That's like
Thank
big.
you.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, first time.
Hard to get people to come to those and like teach them. That's awesome.
Yeah, I've been reaching out a lot, posting on my Snapchat, my Instagram, just like reaching out on iMessages. Talked to a few people at my like in my college classes, so I'm excited. Hopefully people show up. But
Awesome. You can do a virtual link too, like a Zoom call,
oh, I didn't think of that. That's
just in
actually
case people can't make it.
hmm
Yeah,
I don't
because
know, just
then
an
I
idea.
can come.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'd love to attend.
I'll have to
Wednesday.
talk to Michael about it because me and him are both hosting it, so it's gonna be sick.
Yeah, just set up a phone on a mantle somewhere and let us join you. That'd be so fun. Oh my gosh,
That'll be
I'm
fun.
excited for you guys.
Thank
Where
you.
are you guys on from Texas? Okay, guys. So today is the topic of today is boredom, learning, and creativity, and how that can be a progression from moments when you are blank in your mind, not knowing what to do that's productive and creative for yourself, to utilizing ways that you can learn in times of your day and how to be productive in that, and create beautiful things. And then also how to use that and use it for creativity, whether it's creating ideas and then taking those ideas and making them reality, like a beautiful lamp or a set of curtains or something for people to implement and use tools in their lives to advance their health. Hi, Michael. Good to
Hey,
see
what's going on?
you.
What's up?
What up, dude?
Basically,
Sorry I'm late. What's up, guys?
hi, Michael. Join in when you're ready.
Wow,
You're set up. You can take a
I'm
minute.
ready. No, you guys keep going. Sorry, give me like two
Okay.
seconds.
I was
What did you
breaking
say
down
the
the topic.
topic was? Boredom.
Boredom, learning, creativity.
Okay.
Yeah. And all of the geniuses of today's day and age got all of their genius ideas from moments of boredom. And I think there's also I'm going to share a few tools that we can use to advance our ability to learn and how to look at creativity in two different ways. And so like use that as a tool to create things in your life and be a creator or a producer of valuable things for the people in your life. And Michael's going to share about experts and scientists and great, incredible geniuses in the world who have capitalized on their boredom in a masterful way. Michael, are you there? Maybe not. So, Michael,
What's
are you
going
ready
on,
to,
guys?
are you ready
I
to,
am.
okay.
I'm ready to go. How's everybody doing? Hello.
Great.
We've got lots of peeps on. Okay. So, did we already ask the question?
No, I think we should leave the question for the end and dive into the topic if you're ready.
I'm ready.
You're
All
still
right.
in your
Thanks.
ski suit.
Yeah, I just got back, guys. Sorry. All right. Thanks for coming, everybody. Hope everyone's having a good day. We're gonna talk about boredom and the benefits of boredom. So, anywho, um, I think boredom's a really cool topic because it's something that we don't do often. We have in this world, we have so many distractions and there's so much going on. I mean, there's always like an unlimited supply of dopamine and of things we can do. Um, and so it's not something that's really talked about. And I think it's a really big deal to like take some time, whether you can call it like prayer meditation or just like being silent and like having time to yourself. I think it's really important. And so that's kind of what we're going to talk about today is just like the silence and the power of like being bored or just like having silence and the things you learn and what it can do for you. So I think at the end we're going to ask a question if we haven't already. But yeah, I think like I already said, distractions are everywhere. So knowing that and being cognizant of that distractions are all around and they're everywhere. And that I think we need to be careful, especially as people that are young and growing and learning, that there's always going to be, something, um, there's always going to be something for us to do. And so if we can take the time to like slow down, think, and see what else is out there, right? When we like use our minds to our fullest capacity, when it's always occupied on something, right? Like if we're always, um, watching something or scrolling online or social media or just like always distracted, our minds can never really fully think and process the things of our daily life. And so I think that's like a huge thing to just note, right? And you can kind of take that however you want of like what that means to you. I think it applies different to everybody. But the idea of just saying like, okay, like I don't always have to be doing something. Like I can sit still and just sit with my thoughts and think. And I think a lot of really intelligent, successful people did this either in the morning or at nighttime because it's the beginning of the day and it's at the end of the day. So if you can start and finish your day in this, mode of silence, and you can call it whatever you want. It's a lot of people will call it different things, but we can all agree it's this like idea of doing nothing. Not for a super, huge period of time, but for a shorter period of time every day. I feel like is really healthy and helpful to do. So that's kind of like something I want y'all to like resonate with and think with. There's not a lot around. I think Gemma's going to go more into detail on the science. Um, and then one thing I wanted to share too is with ideas. I remember when I was younger, when I would get like grounded or when I just like wasn't able to like have any distractions, like especially from like phone or like iPad or something, I would have all these crazy ideas of like things I wanted to do or things I'd forgotten that I wanted to do or people I needed to reach out to. And even like day to this day when I don't have my phone or I'm not constantly distracted, I have these like ideas. Even sometimes when I'm driving, I won't be on my phone, obviously, because I'm driving, and I have like ideas come to my head. It's because I'm not like occupied. My mind's like free to bloom, right? Like last week we talked about our mind being like into a garden. When you give your mind room to bloom and grow and to like think, there's so much benefits. There's so many benefits you can get from that. And so I just remember when I was younger, I used to get grounded and have all these ideas. And even to this day, on Sundays, I normally take a Sabbath and I won't be on my phone. I've been kind of bad about it recently, but I've been getting a little bit better. And every time I do that, like yesterday, I had just like so much clarity and there were so many ideas I had. And so I for sure keep my notebook with me so I can write those down. But there's just so many ideas that came to my head. And I always, when I'm go throughout the other 6 days of my week, sometimes I'll forget things and I'm like, oh, what was that thing I needed to remember? And maybe things will like slip off the top of my head. But when I take that time every day or even one day a week to like just like slow down and like stop, um, it changes everything. And so I just want to like encourage you guys to maybe try that. Yesterday I had a lot of good ideas come to my head. There was a lot of things that I'd maybe forgotten about that came back to my head, and maybe I never forgot them in the first place. Maybe it was just they were lost in all the distraction that daily life has to offer. So that's pretty much it. I don't really have a whole lot. I think at the end I have a couple. I'll let Gemma go, and then I have like a couple. I have like a little expert story on like
Yeah,
experts that have done it.
that was good.
But I
That
think
was a
that was
good preface.
I
Love
think that's like most though. I think ideas will flow. Sometimes I think I wrote this down. Ideas just flow when you're bored. Sometimes the clutter is the amount of distractions, not the task. And so like what I mean by that is like maybe sometimes your mind isn't cluttered. Like we often will say, like my mind's so cluttered or there's so much going on or I'm so stressed or I'm so anxious. Maybe it's not that you're actually that cluttered. Maybe it's just that you haven't had the time to like sit and like process things and like flow. So that's all I really have to say. And then yeah, it's really simple. But I want y'all to like think and like maybe that resonates, maybe not, but I feel like that's a really interesting topic. So
Yeah, it's so beautiful because every single human mind is going to be totally different. 95% of our mind is still known as the unconscious. Just the same way 95% of the universe is known as black matter or like the like undiscoverable whatever. We can't really tap into it. It's really interesting that there's a parallel between the universe, what we know, and our mind, what we don't know. Um, so the beauty of the ideas that come into our mind is that they're uniquely ours. Nobody's going to have the perspective that is mine. And even though I can explain an idea as best as words can put them into reality, to Michael, he will never be able to execute my idea as well as I could. So there's this test, and you guys can look up this test. It's one where I'm sure maybe you guys have tried it before, where you like close your eyes, you're told to imagine a box, imagine a ladder, imagine some flowers on the field, imagine a desert, imagine a horse, like a bunch of different things, and imagine a storm in the distance. Every single one of those imaginations or figures of imagination is going to show up differently in every one of the 12 people on this call. Nobody's going to have the same picture. And even if I try to explain it to you, you're still not going to be able to see the picture I saw in my head because the idea of formulation of the what my unconscious imagination just put into reality in my mind's eye is so unique to me. I can't ever put it into words that somebody else is going to be able to understand. So it's up to me, my responsibility to take that creative idea I had and now go from the ideation form of creativity and put it into the actualization form of creativity, where you are creating, you are molding, you are working with wood, you are sewing something, or you're baking something, or creating a coffee or a meal, or whatever you do for your career, whether it's your career or just something you're doing for fun as a hobby. There are ways to exercise your creativity. There's two forms of creativity, and they have to be followed from A to B, or else none of our ideas are ever going to come into reality, and other people aren't going to be able to witness the beauty of our minds that we're able to create. There's the idea form, where you're drawing things out. You're, like Michael said, you have a bunch of rambling thoughts, and some of them you pull out and you're like, oh, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. Write them down, because unless they're written down, they may go from one ear to the other, and you might not think of them until 5 years later. And you're like, oh, I did have that thought. So writing them down is a beautiful way to put them on paper and start to work them out. As you're working them out, you begin to make steps, action steps, with your intentions and your passion and your energy to bring them into reality. Bringing them into reality is the next step of creativity. You are taking something that is already known, matter, say like a piece of fabric that's already in reality. You are applying your creative ingenuity, your creative genius to that piece of fabric and making it something that only you see in your mind, or only you drew on paper and nobody else can execute the way that you saw it. So that is both of those elements are completely 100% in your control. You could also hire people out to execute the physical portion of it, but it won't ever quite manifest into reality the way that you have created it in your mind. So, how can we capitalize every 24 hours on these creative blocks, whether it's free flowing creativity or bringing them into reality? Balancing your circadian rhythm is a huge precursor. When are you going to sleep? When are you waking up? Your melatonin production is at its peak from 9 p.m. to 4 a.m. That is the hormone that your body naturally produces to knock you out at night and to make you naturally drowsy. The more we push through that block to stay awake, the shorter actual recovery, nourishing sleep that we're actually going to get. And I know many of us may have actually the habit of using our phones in bed. That is another precursor of disrupting your circadian rhythm, having blue lights or bright overhead light when it's dark outside. So, like right after this call, I'm going to shut off all the lights and get it really, really dark. Because that is a method. Yeah, Michael's doing it. That is a way for us to be coding our circadian rhythm. There is a little thing between our eyes and the circadian rhythm muscle program in our body that when we are exposed to bright light in the morning, our body activates cortisol and wakes us up, gives us a lot of energy. That morning period of time where your body's naturally producing cortisol, naturally producing energy, activating all the blood and the fluid in your body is a perfect time to act on ideas in the creating process of actual physical things coming into reality of ideas you've created in the past. In the afternoon, we tend to calm down. Our body's naturally running out of energy. We've used up a lot of our energy in the morning. So the afternoon is a beautiful time for us to use for like creative ideation, I guess you could say. So you could spend time in silence, like Michael gave us an example of, and use that as a recharging moment to implement into creative ideation activities, whether that's journaling or creating art or sending emails or having a conversation with a friend that you are coming up with ideas before you've brought them into reality. The reason it's so perfectly carved in the afternoon to exercise that type of creative practice is because our body is naturally calmer and creativity blossoms in a calm, safe, non-scrutinized environment, non-high pressure environment. It's a very like relax, be calm, like play some music, be that primes your body to be in a state of flow, like Michael had said, of creativity. And creativity that is not demanding you to sit there and with the highest precision put every single needle through the fabric. You're not being demanded of in that way. You're being demanded of in a expansive way where your body can relax and you can create beautiful, beautiful things for the world. So that's what I had to share. There's a lot more that we could go in on because balancing the circadian rhythm is like my bread and butter. I could talk about that all freaking day. And there's a lot of essential oils you guys can use to balance your circadian rhythm. There's oils you could use to activate creativity in your body. You can use frankincense. Frankincense is such a cool one under your tongue, on your temples, behind your ears, on your feet. You can use essential oils in the afternoon or in the evening, especially on your feet or on your spine, to allow your body to fall into the rhythm of falling asleep between 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. So that way you are actually getting a full night of rest when your brain is recovered and recouped and has healed from all the exercising you've done for it the day before. It can actually be exercised the following day in a more powerful way. And there's so many practices we can do. And I think we'll be talking so much more on circadian rhythm in the future, but that's one incredible tool for us to use and capitalize on to implement more creativity in our daily life, in work blocks, in creative blocks. And then using times of silence and like calming down, whether you're doing yoga or a long walk or meditating. There's times where you can totally chill out and organize your thoughts so that way you can weed out the confusion and actually identify this is my incredible idea and I'm going to work on this more day after day in this time block that allows me to do my best work.
Mm.
Yeah.
So good.
Mm-hmm.
So good. Really, really good.
Let's
Yeah.
hear that story of the expert.
So, okay, so I was gonna do three, but I'll just do one so we can kind of go in a little more in depth. But I read this in a book a while ago, and I can't remember which book. It might have been Psycho-Cybernetics, or maybe it was, I don't really remember. But either way, I was talking about Albert Einstein. I don't really know much about Albert Einstein. I do know he did a lot of cool stuff. But one thing that I thought was really interesting was that he really valued boredom, which is like so weird to think about. But he said, and I'm going to read this, that he valued boredom as a gateway to creativity, which is so wild that being bored and like settling with your thoughts, like going on a walk or just like sitting there, is a way to gain creativity. It's so interesting. And it says his thought experiments often came about during periods of reflection and mental wandering. For example, his breakthrough in understanding the equivalence principle of gravity stemmed from imagining a painter falling off a roof while he was working on the Swiss patent office. These moments of idle contemplation allowed Einstein to develop his revolutionary theories in physics. The idea that boredom can fuel creativity isn't unique to Einstein. Boredom gives the brain a chance to explore, leading to insights and ideas that wouldn't arise in a state of constant distraction. So it's the exact same thing we were talking about at the beginning. Like, allow some time for stillness every day, and you'll be amazed at like the ideas you get. Like a lot of the ideas, I'm trying to remember. I think even the idea of, I don't want to like say this for sure, but I think even the idea of this call, this Wellness Mavericks thing, was through stillness. Jem and I were talking on the phone, and we were talking to each other, so technically we were doing something. But I remember, like, it was, I think maybe September. I don't remember exactly. Either way, the idea of it wasn't like I was not distracted. We were very both talking and present in the moment, and ideas kind of just come.
Mm-hmm.
And all of the ideas, things I'm working on right now, things I've been working on, I can't think of an idea that I've been like extremely distracted and then been like, oh yeah, that's like cool. It's always been like I've been in peace or just like flowing or something, and I've just had an idea and it's like, whoa. A lot of my ideas come when I'm going to bed, right when I go to bed. So I always really try and keep this with me. This is like very important to me. But I always try and keep my journal by my bedside. But a lot of ideas come to me on my pillow when I'm going to sleep, and that's when I'm not doing anything. I don't think those are coincidences. I don't think so at all. So yeah, I would say, like, especially if you're contemplating like an idea, I'll give you like a practical step, and then I'll give you like if you have a problem. The first practical step that I would say that you guys can like take away and like start this is, I would say, like, pick one or the other or do both, which I think is great. But we have 7 days in a week. Choose one day that you're not going to be distracted. We all are busy people, but I'm positive we can all choose one day that we don't need to be distracted. You have 6 days to do everything else you need to do. And I promise you, this will increase productivity. It will make you value your time better. It will give you a better idea of your time and how much time you're wasting, right? Like, time block your days out and really maximize your days, and then spend one day doing nothing, right? You could do a puzzle, you could paint, you go for a walk, hang with friends, like just do nothing, read, like don't have anything planned and just go. And I think that's like a practical step that's like, whoa, it sounds really hard, but when you do it, once you're doing it, you're like, wow. Throughout the other 6 days, it's just so peaceful. From what I've
reset. It's
a
practice of resetting for the body. The same way we have to sleep at night is the same way we need to rest one day during the week.
Yeah.
And it's not to say that you're just gonna lay in bed and not do anything.
No.
It's like, don't have a plan so that way you're not rushed to do something or trying to capitalize on a moment of distraction on your phone so you can get the biggest dopamine rush before the next boring thing you have to do.
Right, exactly. And I would say one thing, and so that's the first thing. And the second thing I would say that you can practically take into advice, and if you're going to listen to anything, I think it would be this, is turn off your phone at least like 30 minutes before bed, at least like minimum. And if you're gonna do red light, but I would say like turn off your phone and like just like process the day, like think through the day, and then when you wake up, I think we've talked about this too. Maybe we'll do a call on this soon. That would be a fun idea. But
Yeah,
setting the
circadian
tone
rhythm, I
for
think, needs
right, circadian rhythm, and also setting a tone for the day.
Mm.
Like the tone you set as soon as you wake up and you press your alarm and lay back in bed, like those little things set the tone for the day. And I'm not always the best at it, but like if you wake up and the first thing you're doing is going on your phone and filling, like that's what you're filling yourself with. Like we have a lot of good on our phone, but not the
Not that
best way
much.
to start your day. Not the best way to start your day. And so I think that's huge too. Like before you go to bed and first when you wake up, like those are vital moments. So if you can spend those alone, like do it and just try it. Try it for a week and see how it feels. Like set a goal for yourself. But those are the two practical steps I would say. And then I would say one more thing, and then I'm pretty much done here with my presentation or whatever you want to call this. But I would say if you have a problem or if you're thinking of something or there's a big task and you're like, oh, this is something I really need to solve. I have this really big issue, or I have this like, maybe it's not a bad thing, maybe it's a good thing, but you need to find a solution, or you need to find an answer, or you're trying to find a way, to like make something work. These are really good things. And instead of getting distressed and upset about it, you can take some time to be bored and to be still. That's what the Albert Einstein thing was talking about, is in taking that time. Like there was even a story that it didn't mention that, but there was even a story where he would like sleep, go for a walk, like just hang out, maybe paint. Like he would just do nothing and be still, but he wouldn't listen to music. He wouldn't really like, I don't think he would read or do anything like that. No distractions, but he would like be fully like relaxed and in like a peaceful state, but be like concentrated, not in a stressful way, but be concentrated on the problem or on finding a solution. And so if that's like a step for a problem, like if I ever have something I'm thinking of, I really will like I will take away distractions. Like I think music's a huge one that you can take away. Like take away music. Like if you have a really big problem and you're not giving your mind enough time to like really like go through all of the possible outcomes or even just what's going on, I think that you're missing a big part of what your brain is very capable, right? Like
Oh, yeah.
it's very capable. And so yeah, I would say like if you have a problem, like cut out some distractions for a couple of days or however long until you find the problem. And it's just crazy the amount of like ideas you get when you just be bored. And it's so hard because you're just bored. Like there's nothing fascinating about it. There's nothing exciting about it. But when you do it, you have all these ideas and it's awesome. So
Yeah.
yeah,
You're
that's
focusing
pretty much it.
on the 90% of not filled unconscious matter that you have in your brain. Like
Yeah.
use it. The only way to use
Right.
it is when you are put in charge of creating something. And that means
Right.
thoughts, being in charge of thoughts. So if you are sitting in silence or doing something in silence without preoccupation or distraction, you are demanding yourself to create thoughts.
Yes.
Create, like the act of ideas comes from thinking your own thoughts and not being
Yeah.
governed by other things. Music is the number one most low level form of manipulation or imprinting on you. So, yes, there may be incredible music out there. It may be all positive, but it is a redundance of words. It's a repetition of words and programming and thoughts and ideas, okay, of someone else's. They took time to create that. What of your own thoughts are you imprinting on your mind, on your body, on your reality, on the world around you that are
Yeah.
your creation?
Yep.
Big
So
question.
good. So good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Let's ask the be bored question.
Yes. All right. We have like 10, maybe 15, 10 minutes.
10
Now
minutes.
it's time for y'all to chat. Okay. So we have a question. When was the last time you were bored or like truly bored? And what was the result of that boredom? And Gemma, do you want to go first real quick? And then we can like each person like 30 seconds to a minute. And then we'll just, yeah. And then if y'all have any thoughts, like quick too, we want to hear from you guys.
Yeah, recently I've been waking up in the morning bored, like genuinely, like no thoughts in my head. And I don't like to get out of bed when I don't have anything like getting me out of bed. So like I would rather just lay there. And so
Yeah.
recently it's been me laying there at like 6:30 in the morning and just being like, what is going to like set me on fire for today and actually get me up and moving. So I have like a lot of art in my room, decorating everything. And I noticed this three works of art that I have, they're like very similar, identical to each other. It's like replicas that my friend, and an artist had made the same picture, and they're just right next to each other. And I was thinking, I'm like, I would love to have one of his artworks that he actually makes. He's an incredible artist in my own home one day. But I'm like, what about like my own stuff? Like, what about the things that I'm creating? And I'm like,
Yeah.
in order to for me to create that, even in a year's time from now, because I know I can't make that today, in a year's time from now, I need to like be dedicating 4 or 5 hours to studying and creating the wellness studio that I'm working on right now in order for me to at one point be able to showcase the art that I do create. So then the product of that moment of boredom and just staring at the wall at a couple of paintings was me setting aside for the past couple of days 5 hours of work where I get to just work on my laptop, read 2 books that I will take from myself, and journal any notes. And then I have my phone that I'm always shooting off messages and emails and stuff. So that moment of boredom put for me a block of time where I feel really productive and super energized with. And yeah, that was the action part of my idea.
That's really cool. I love it.
Yeah.
Keegan, you got something, Keegan?
Yeah, kind of the same with Gemma. I wake up really early, like 5 a.m.
Nice.
That's just like I feel most productive in the morning. So like for like I wake up at 5 a.m., but like for like 15 minutes, I just lie in bed thinking, okay, I'm gonna do this and then do this and then do that and do that and do that. And then like I just count like three, two, one, get out of bed, and then I just do those things like I'll do some mobility in the morning, drink some
Mhm.
like a big glass of water. I'll read like a few chapters of my book, write, journal, like goals for today or for any day, I guess. And then I'll just make a cup of coffee and make some breakfast, and then that's really my morning. Is just I'm most productive in the morning, and that kind of happens like from that first 15 minutes of boredom, just thinking of, okay, what am I going to get done this morning
Mhm.
Yeah.
to, I guess, have the rest of the day be like successful, I guess, which kind of stems off from like the book that I'm reading is like Make Your Bed. I think
Mm.
that's what it is. It's
Oh yeah.
made by his general, and like he's just saying like the little things matter. Like make your bed in the morning can really make the rest of the day
Yeah.
more productive, and you would just get more tasks done in the day. So
Mhm.
yeah, that's really what I do with boredom in the
That's really
morning.
cool.
I love
Set
it.
the tone. Set the
Mhm.
tone. Same thing.
Inspiring. Yeah,
All
Uh,
right.
I can go.
go for it.
Yes.
What's up, guys? Missed
Up,
y'all.
Maddie.
Yeah, it's been a
Yeah,
week.
we miss you.
So actually, I had a moment of boredom recently. My boyfriend and I, we were super bored on Thursday night, and I came up with an idea. I was like, what if we made a wellness chart? And because I buy all these like medicines and like herbal supplements, and I always read about these things, I'm like, oh, I want to try that, but I never like actually like implement them. Like I buy them and then I don't like I'll use them for a bit and then I just like forget and move on to like another thing. And so I'm like, okay, let me study these herbs and these essential oils and actually make a wellness chart morning, afternoon, and evening and really actually use them
Mm.
and really optimize my health.
Wow.
And so my boyfriend and I, we just kind of like brainstormed and just named some things that we want to like, work on with our health, physically, mentally, spiritually, whatever. And now we're gonna implement them morning, afternoon, and evening. And we have like a little whiteboard chart and we check
Yeah.
off every day what we did. And we've also been turning off our phones at 8:30 every night. So
Ah, I love
yeah,
that.
and
Come
it's
I love
on.
funny because
that.
I've also been doing the light thing as well. So, and I really
Come
noticed the
on.
difference. So,
Yeah.
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 Come on. Let's
Dude.
I'm
go.
literally sitting in the dark
Fantastic.
right now. So,
I
Look at
love
you.
it.
yeah, you guys
I
are
want
Good
to
for
see
you,
this
Maddie.
chart so bad.
I'm so
Oh,
proud.
yeah, I could send a picture in the chat.
Please. That would be so
Yes,
cool.
yes, please. Send in a
Yeah,
group chat.
I will.
That's awesome, Ed. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
All right, Ev, what you got?
Hey.
Hey.
I think being bored is something I can work on. I feel like I always fill my time with stuff that I think I need to do. But when I was bored was on Saturday. I did like a little walk, and I was just like everything was just so beautiful and vibrant. I was just like I felt like a kid. I was like, there's like just water flowing down into the lake and just like the noise it was making, and then just like all the moss on the trees. I was like, wow, like God is so intentional, like in the details. How much more intentional is He like with me in my own life? Like if He made, the world the way that He made it, um, how much more special, am I because I'm made in His creation. So it was like a little reflection moment, I guess, in that boredom. Yeah.
That's really good. I love it. It's cool when you're so present.
Hmm. I
That's
love
really cool.
nature walks. Nature walks are the best to be bored with. Like leave your phone at home and just go for a walk.
It's so good.
Good one.
Jake, you got some? Come on, Jake.
Come on. Hey, what's going
Go.
on? Yeah, this one's interesting. I know this. I'm trying to think of a specific example. Um, when I don't know, I was sick and I was really bored, and I just ended up watching Harry Potter. So, but that's different. When you're sick, my brain wasn't cranking. Like I was dead. But so I won't use that example. But I know this. I was bored over the break, and this is for every example when I'm bored. When school's out, I have a lot of time, and I get bored like pretty like easy. So I'm like, but I always creatively am like having an outlet. So I think boredom is so good for a creative person because and it allows that creative person to have a new thing like, okay, what can I create like out of this blank canvas of boredom? And for me, that was like starting like social media, like videos, more like creative videos. Like that boredom and like chilling made like allowed me to pour this like creative bank into this piece of like art, you can call it. I mean, when you make videos, like it's a form of art. I mean, all art looks different, but it's a form of art. And to me, that's just really like satisfying and a good use of my time. I feel like yeah, I'm weird. I just always creatively will do something when I'm bored. But yeah, I don't know. I think that's mine. I don't know. I think I answered that.
That's good.
That's good, bro. It's very good.
Yep. Yeah, bro.
I
Thanks,
love
dude.
it. I love it.
Creative people
That's the
will
best.
always have a different take on boredom. It's interesting because every creative mind, but like every mind can be creative. Everyone is creative by nature, but it's exercising it and be owning it that like makes you actually use your boredom in a different way. We got two
Facts.
people.
All right, Niara or Frankie, who's up?
Mhm.
I can go. Hey y'all, my name is Niara. Thanks so much to Michael for inviting me. This has been such an interesting conversation because God was just revealing to me how distracted I let myself be. And I was like, wow, the timing is crazy. But over the break, I stayed at my apartment. I did not go home like my roommates did. And I found myself like so bored because I've never been like in a house by myself for more than 24 hours. And I literally remember telling my friend, like, I feel like I'm gonna go crazy because I have nothing to do. And I can't, there's only so long you can scroll. Like, there's only so long you can just like fill yourself up with like movies and like whatever. And I found that like I really love the small moments. And I like would just be like, well, I have no other choice but to do my chores now. I'm not busy. And so I would be like cleaning the kitchen and washing dishes, and it's just like something about having like a small and easy task. You can really just let your mind flow. And I tried to practice meditating on like the things that God told me earlier in the week, because honestly, you don't have like any other excuse to, like, you can't say you're so busy. And I found like that actually works. Like when Jesus says like meditate on the scripture and you actually have the time to do it and you're like cleaning your house, like you just feel so peaceful, especially in the morning. So yeah.
So
Love.
good. Use that boredom for good. I love it.
Hey, I gotta bounce, but I love y'all.
Good to
Love
see
you,
you,
Jake.
Jacob.
Bye,
Bye,
JJ.
guys. Good to see
Bye,
y'all.
bro.
Bye.
Hey,
Frankie,
Jake.
Frankie,
Great
what you got,
episode.
Frank?
Great episode. Sorry.
Sorry, my camera's been off the whole time. I like to organize and do my laundry while we're on these calls. It's like a habit stack.
Look at
Um,
Love
you.
it.
yeah. I can't remember what was her name. What was your name? Who just went? I just loved what she said.
Niara.
What is it? Yara?
Niara with an N.
Niara. Well, it's nice to meet everyone. Niara, I loved your input. I'm Frankie. It reminded me of a quote I saw today on the back of a car, and it didn't come back to me until she was speaking. Just talking about being bored all the time. Like when I find myself bored, um, like if I'm scrolling or just, not being productive, I think of who I want to be and my goals. I have my vision board right in front of my desk, and I have pictures of, nice cars that I want to drive, and pictures of like Muhammad Ali, Conor McGregor, people who are successful and master their craft. And I think about my hobbies, and I see, my hobbies like guitar, art, things that I want to do. Anyway, coming back to the sticker that I saw today on the back of this car, it said, "Remember who you wanted to be." And that really hit me hard, because when you're sitting there being bored and you feel, kind of down on yourself for not doing things that you kind of promised yourself you would do, there's some insecurity that can seep in, right? But when you're doing things that you promise yourself you're going to do, and you develop yourself and get into your talents, it's almost like you prove to yourself that you're remembering who you want to be, right? So rather than doing things that you're not going to remember, doing things that aren't increasing your value as a human. And I'm saying you like talking, but I'm really talking to myself. Like that's kind of what I put together from what Niara was saying just now. So
That's so good.
So
And I
good,
like
bro.
that you tied it to your
Love
vision
that.
board. Because we talked
Yeah.
about that a few months back, was having a vision. Vision is so important, but because it's
Yeah.
visual. You guys, there was this podcast I listened to recently. It was a guy who's an expert on like reading body language and blah blah blah. It's because the reason he's an expert in that is because people can fool you with their words all day, but your facial expressions and the way that your body instructs itself to move will literally tell the underlying story the whole way through. And what he said there was that humans are much stronger in their visual expression, language, and learning than they are in verbal expression, language, and learning. Like we are way more capable of learning through pictures and like expression. Like if we were to do charades, like we would be able to learn so much more about each other and the world around us and create ideas of what we want the world to look like if we had visual expressions of that. So that vision board note was so cool because we did talk about that a while ago. I
So
love
good.
that. Yeah,
I love that.
Wow.
it's interesting.
Dude, I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay, I think that was.
That was everyone. We're at 4 minutes, 45 minutes.
Oh, okay, cool. All right. I'll share mine really quickly. I got bored the other day and I did a puzzle. That was pretty much it. It was really fun though. And I'm definitely glad I did it. And I want to do more puzzles. Most of the time when I get bored, I'll journal about the future and about where I've been, where I am now, or where I want to be, or just what's going on. And I always find so many ideas come from this. Like it's crazy. So that's what I would say is mine. Like I always write about like where I want to be and where things have changed and what I'm thinking about. And it always turns into something like really cool. A lot of ideas flow from this. So,
I have a
all
question.
right. Yeah.
How many pieces was the puzzle?
1,000. It's not done yet.
No, you're kidding. Oh, okay, that's not bad. Let's see it.
It's not done yet. I just got the borders.
Okay.
Check it out.
You
You
got
should
the
glue it and
edges.
frame it when you're done.
How do I flip the camera?
Put it up.
Check it out. This is Mads. This is sweet. We're gonna turn the light on, mess up the circadian rhythm real quick. Check it out. I got the borders done. tonight we're gonna tackle more of this. But you wouldn't believe I spent 3 hours doing this border last night. I
Yeah.
swear, it took me 3 hours from 8:20 to 11:20. It
Mm.
was really rough, low key. But I made a promise I was gonna do the
Okay, well, you have
edges.
to share the completed version of it on the group chats.
I will. I'll
Yeah,
send
we
it.
need
Don't worry.
updates.
I'll let y'all know. It's gonna get done. I'm gonna work on it in a minute, actually.
Yeah, I love it.
But all right, thank y'all for coming. We're good on time, I think. But yeah, thanks for coming, everybody. That was kind of a really awesome call per usual. So
Love
thank you
it.
guys. I hope you learned something. Use those practical steps. And we want to check in. We want to start doing more practical steps. Gem and I were talking about it. We want y'all to try this stuff, and then if it tell us about it. We'll try and ask more too. But next week, let us know if these things are working. If you're seeing results. If you're oh yeah, I could see how this would help my life or make it better, or this is what I learned. We want to give you more practical steps. So try, maybe take a Sabbath, or maybe or just a day off, whatever you want to call it. Maybe, don't be on your phone before you go to bed. Right. But try it. But yeah, thanks for coming on, y'all. We'll see y'all next week.
Thank you guys.
Thank you
Bye.
so much, guys.
Bye.
You guys are awesome.
Y'all have a
Bye.
great night.
Have a good
Be
night.
blessed.
See ya.
Bye, guys.